The Libertarian Convention is underway right now in Orlando, Florida. This is a political environment that has been ripe for a third-party candidate, and they're the only party with a chance of showing up on the ballot in all 50 states. Right now, they're up to 32. On Sunday morning, 18 candidates will vie for party delegates, and a nominee will emerge. Former New Mexico governor and past presidential candidate Gary Johnson is the favorite to win, and he's already shaken up general election polling. In a recent Morning Consult poll, they had Clinton 38, Trump 35, Johnson 10. A recent Fox News poll tells a similar story. Trump 42, Clinton 39, Johnson 10. By the way, at this point, Johnson draws an equal amount of support from both Trump and Clinton voters in both of these polls. In 2012, Gary Johnson won 1.2 million votes as the Libertarian nominee. It was actually the most votes ever for the Libertarian Party. Analysts expect them to shatter that record in 2016. Well, the Libertarian presidential candidate and favorite for the nomination, former Republican governor of New Mexico, Gary Johnson, joins me now. Governor Johnson, welcome back to the show. Let me just start here. Are you, how nervous are you about getting this nomination?
Plenty nervous. Nothing is guaranteed, but it is a process. Respect the process. And Chuck, I'd like to mention that I'd like Bill Weld to be the vice presidential nominee, something that he's also running for this weekend. I think the fact that having two former Republican governors serving in states that are deep blue and being successful, being fiscally conservative, socially liberal, I think that we occupy the great middle, and that the great middle is libertarian. It's just that they don't know it.
Well, let me ask you this. We know, the last time I talked to you, I spent a lot of time about, what it is that you feel, how you differ from the Republican Party and these days. But let me ask you this. What do you think is the biggest part of your platform that will appeal to, say, Bernie Sanders supporters?
Well, first of all, I think it's appealing to Bernie Sanders supporters from the social side of a woman's right to choose, marriage equality, legalizing marijuana. Let's stop dropping bombs. Let's really examine our military interventions. Crony capitalism is alive and well, and I think Bernie Sanders supporters will be surprised. I think that most people are fiscally conservative on top of that, understanding that you can't overspend in your own life, and that should apply to government also.
If you, what would be the biggest piece of legislation that you would want to introduce if you got elected in your first 100 days? What would be the focus of that first 100 days for you?
Well, that we would be able to significantly reduce the size of government. And look, at the end of the day, I'm seeking to be elected President of the United States. Count on me to sign on anything that moves us in that direction. But the more that government tries to do, the more it taxes us. When it taxes us, that's money out of your and my pocket that we could be spending on our own lives, enjoying our own lives in lieu of government deciding how we should, or dictating how we should live our lives.
But if the number one issue for many voters is sort of economic anxiety or income inequality or some combination of the two, do you believe there's anything you could do as president that would somehow negate income inequality or make it a little less of a divide?
I believe that. As governor of New Mexico, I may have vetoed more legislation than the other 49 governors in the country combined, but what I saw is that government, legislators, they pass all sorts of legislation that really give crony capitalism a foothold. What government can do is create a level playing field. That's all you can really expect from government, but there's not a level playing field out there right now. Advantage goes to those that have money, that have influence. I am espousing eliminating income tax, corporate tax, abolishing the IRS, replacing it with one federal consumption tax. I think you would issue pink slips to 80% of Washington lobbyists because they're there to garner tax favor.
And finally, let me ask you this. Are you comfortable being a spoiler? Do you, if your candidacy,
absolutely,
is that your? I mean, okay, go ahead.
Well, by absolutely, spoiler, look, the 3 polls where my name has appeared, and the key really is to appear, just to have the name appear in the polls, but in the 3 polls that I've appeared in, I've actually taken more votes away from Hillary than Trump, but at the end of the day, a third party draws equally from both camps, both Democrats and Republicans. And at the end of the day, if we can move Democrats to be a little more fiscally responsible, and we can move Republicans to be a little more socially acceptable, that's a real win.